Bethesda have just announced a new Fallout TV series, but should you be excited? Is it made by a good studio? What is the series even about? Here's everything you need to know. And Bethesda have actually been submitting TV trademarks for Fallout ever since 2009. So this has always been just a matter of time until they find the right person to make this. And what you'll be very happy to hear about is Kilter Films, the guys who are going to be creating this, have actually played the game, which is always good news because it means they understand it. In an interview, the directors had this to say about Fallout. Fallout is one of the greatest game series of all time. Each chapter of this insanely imaginative story has cost us countless hours we could have otherwise spent with friends and family. So we're incredibly excited to partner with Todd Howard and the rest of the brilliant lunatics at Bethesda to bring this massive, submersive and darkly funny universe to life with Amazon Studios. Now if you guys take a listen to the clip Bethesda released on Twitter, we actually get a sneak peek of the TV series. Now what this clip reminded me of instantly was the start of Fallout 4. It's one of the only games where the player actually starts out in pre-war America in 1950 in colour, and for the first time we experience the American dream in a lovely neighbourhood suburb in Boston before the bombs actually fell and turned the world into a nuclear wasteland with mutated creatures roaming them, the world of Fallout. Now, the contrast of the 1950s music at the start of this clip, before the high-pitched scream when I guess the bombs are falling and everyone knows they're about to die, the world's going into chaos, hints that the Amazon TV series will indeed start in post-war America. So I fully expect the Fallout TV show to start out following an American family or soldier, to be used as some kind of plot device to help explain to the viewers the resource power struggle that the world is currently going through in the world of Fallout before the Great War actually takes place on October 23, 2077, when a 2-hour nuclear exchange takes place on an apocalyptic scale which creates the world of Fallout as we know it in the video games. We may follow one character's or a family's survival within a vault, or their struggle to get to the vault in time, and then maybe only a few of them survive. Perhaps then we have another story that takes place inside the vault, because Vault-Tec are known for their crazy experiments on the vault residents. And then we'll have the part of the story where they emerge into the wasteland, what they're going to find, the different factions that exist in the world, who they're going to side with, and so on. However, this obviously isn't a video game, so I fully expect that part of what we know from a Fallout game to exist in the TV series. Now, one thing that is really interesting about Bethesda's choice of studio, Kilter Films, is if history is anything to go by, Todd Howard and Bethesda have actually been very picky when it comes to who will get to do the Fallout movie. In an interview with Todd Howard around the time Fallout 4 was released a few years ago, it was revealed that Bethesda has turned down many Fallout movie offers, adding, "I don't want to rule it out, but nothing really has clicked where the games are popular enough and that's their identity. Fallout 4, if there had been a Fallout movie, you'd feel different about Fallout. When we'd announce Fallout 4, and one of them wouldn't be quite right, you wouldn't want that to be the game." This is actually a really interesting statement because it sounds like Todd is basically saying he doesn't want a movie to define the Fallout franchise. The thing about movies and books of video games is that they need a strong story and strong characters. And the characters within those movies become an expectation or an identity of the IP. So with Fallout, for example, Todd Howard's design direction was clearly that he wanted the roleplay element to be you yourself experiencing the world how you want to, and not having a predefined character like Geralt from the Witcher series who already has a developed backstory and motives. Like in the Witcher games, for example, you can't kill random villagers because Geralt wouldn't do that. But in Skyrim and Fallout or Cyberpunk, you can do that because you're making your own character's story and decisions. It's a roleplay game. So back again to the subject of Fallout. While it's clear Bethesda feel that Kilter Films will do a really good job on the Fallout TV series, one cannot help but question, why is now the right time suddenly? What's changed? Todd said in that interview a few years ago when Fallout was at its absolute prime peak of sales and Fallout Shelter was on the top of the App Store, Fallout was as popular as it could have been, that the games were popular enough. They didn't need a movie as well to like promote it further. But now, obviously with the catastrophe of Fallout 76's launch, not to go into detail with it, but as we know, it was the worst sold Bethesda game, the worst AAA game sales I think in a decade. Maybe Anthem did worse, I don't know. But it really did put a nail in the franchise, and Bethesda went from being one of the most loved companies to one of the most hated by many people. So with Fallout 76 in the state it is and struggling, I think Bethesda's tone has definitely changed towards the idea of a movie to back up the franchise, and maybe this is something that they really think we need to do this now as kind of like a, if it flops, it flops. If it does really well, it will definitely restore a lot of faith in the franchise. Personally, I look at films and TV series as something extremely different to video game design, so I would never compare both like that, but obviously the fans TV series can drive is a very real thing as well. Now, as for the overall storyline and what to expect, and if you should maybe be worried about this, I'm genuinely interested, but in a reserved sort of way. I'm very excited, and I've always wanted this to happen. Not gonna lie, I think I would have been more excited had I not played Fallout 76 before, and I think it's killed a lot of people's joy for the franchise. But I go back and play previous games before Fallout 76, and I, really enjoy them, the gameplay and so on. And I've not actually played the Wastelanders DLC, but at least we know this series is going to have NPCs in it. However, Fallout 76 aside, the world of Fallout is very interesting. It seems like from what the directors have said in this short interview segment that they understand that Fallout is a dark, gritty world, but with some humour still injected. Kilter Films have also produced a very successful series called Westworld, which has that dark, gritty sort ofness to it. So I'm hoping this will kind of show us that really harsh, dark side to the apocalyptic world that we all want and crave. Now let's not forget that Fallout is a world that came about because of a video game. So it's always been developed in the sense of a video game and a player getting to make choices in the world based on their decisions and responses to the environment. Now, if you make a movie about a video game, it's a very different thing. Now, we know that this worked with the Witcher Netflix series, but let's not forget that The Witcher was based on a book, a very successful novel by a Polish author that sold really well, and then CD Projekt Red took that IP and made a video game out of it that has just saw more and more success over the years. So there was a real in-depth hardcore story there, and a narrative and build up characters that already existed for CD Projekt Red to develop further within their game. Now, Fallout doesn't have that same thing. Fallout doesn't have like those defined characters in the sense that a book has, like Game of Thrones or something like that. And in history, when you look at games that have been made into movies without that kind of like narrative from a book to sort of draw on, there's sometimes a little bit of lackingness there, and you kind of see a lot of plot holes and flaws in it. So I'm hoping my main worry is that the story won't be good enough. And I think it's going to have to be something that really grips Fallout players, but also people who have never played the game. I mean, I've spoken to people who didn't even know the Witcher Netflix series was a video game. So you've got to remember that while you have your core audience and loads of Fallout gaming fans, there's going to be loads of people that just see this on Amazon and think, oh yeah, I'll give that a watch. But they wouldn't have no idea that this was a video game to begin with and that they can go away and play it. So hopefully this is just a good story. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I hope it's not too cheesy or anything like that. And apparently this film studio, they've won tons of awards. So I'm sure they're very capable of doing that. But I hope Bethesda give them, the freedom that's deserved in making something that's exciting, memorable, and creating characters within the world. But only time will tell, and that is all pretty much just speculation. One thing is for sure though, they do have a lot of different narratives, stories, and things to draw on from the series. So there's no shortage of material. We just hope that, you know, they have good characters and we have good actors playing these roles. Now, in terms of when this is actually going to come out, it seems like the studio is already really busy in pre-production filming something else right now. I think it's like some kind of sci-fi thriller. So I think it will be a way away, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this maybe launch with the next Fallout game. Who knows? We'll definitely see aspects of Fallout, like, you know, the vault, the pre-war, all of the weaponry and things that we've seen in the video games for sure. But I don't think it's going to be like any other story we've experienced in the games, because that just wouldn't work for a TV series. So fingers crossed that they get it right, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you're excited for, what you're worried about, and we'll see what goes on from there. And I'll be reporting here on the channel, so don't forget to subscribe and press the bell notification for any updates on this new Fallout TV series. But it's exciting times, and I'm crossing my fingers for this one that it's good, because it's going to be, you know, a revamp that the Fallout series kind of needs after the damage that Fallout 76 did to it. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.